David, you know, when all of y'all got into it, you probably had not been associated with fans, like Star Trek and all. Now, George Martin was. Howard was not. There was a whole lot of people here that came into this totally green. At least at the beginning, the studio was so open to fans. You know, I mean, you could call up and call us. Yeah, it was just amazing. And of course, as time went by, those doors obviously had to close. Can you tell me how the learning process, as from your point of view, from all of us hitting, how did it impact with all of you? Did it scare you? What was your process? Because those doors came closer and closer. Do you understand what I'm asking you?
Okay, someone want to answer that? Bro, do you want to take a shot at that for us?
Was it a mistake to be so open in the beginning?
I don't think given the context of Beauty and the Beast, it was clearly not a mistake. It was, I think, at some stages, and given, you know, the tenor of some human beings on planet Earth, you know, some people just delve deeper than others. So there was never a point, I shouldn't say never, there were only a few moments along the road where Ron Perl would say to me, Schwartz, I can't believe you allowed me to do that. But they were very, very slim moments. And that was just extent of probably enormous fanaticism of one or two isolated people. But the process of it, none of us had ever worked in television before. And I kind of talked about this a little bit last night at the bar. The process of working in major motion pictures is you get a script, you work on something, and then it just sort of disappears in the universe. And like 9 months later, you get this mail order. It's like, oh, there's a screening of, you know, blah, blah. You know, the Cinema Odeon, and it's a cast and crew screening, and it's like, oh yeah, I worked on that. And you just got to go, and you see people you hadn't seen, some you may be working on a project with, some you haven't. And you just go to the cinema that night and see the movie, and you go, I don't remember any of it. But, you know, and then that's it, and you sort of disappear, and then, you know, now, of course, with things like Entertainment Tonight, you can't escape not knowing what box office receipts are and all that. But overall, in working on a motion picture, you sort of just walk away from it, and then it's oftentimes a year where it just comes out in the universe, and then there's feedback about it. In television, other than the first 9 episodes, when we were, again, in the back, when we did the pilot, I think it was March of, you probably all know things, but it's like March of '87, right? Yeah. And then we just kind of had the summer off, and then someone said, you're going to make this into a series. And we're like, what are they going to do? No one was more surprised than Ron or Linda. They were like, well, how many more of these did they want? We just had no clue. We did this pilot, and it was pretty self-contained, except for, I don't know what's going on in those tunnels there. You know, whatever happened to him. Does anybody know what happened to that guy? But I'm going to find out. He's a car wash in Reseda. But the fact of, we started cranking out a couple of these, and cranking out is not what I mean, but we made 7, 8 of them, and all of a sudden, someone said, this is going to be on Friday night. I'm like, really? We all like stopped work early and closed one of the stages at Renmar Studios, and we had a party, and everyone sat there and we watched it on television. It was kind of strange because at that stage, the crew that we were working with wasn't the crew that had shot the pilot, so it was difficult. There's a lot of us that had the experience of the pilot, and the family that we created there was no longer in existence to actually reap the benefits of what we had created. So we just kind of went with it, but next thing you know, there's like fan mail, and there's feedback from television commentators, and there's all kinds of communication out there in response to what you're doing, and none of us had any prior experience of that. It was, you know, just working in this endless, you do it, you do it, you do it, you do it, you do it. And all of a sudden, people were saying, well, what do you want to say about that thing? You like it, you watch it, you know, I'm sure Kodak will be happy to buy the film, they advertised. We didn't know, and all of a sudden, people would bring things, food and letters, and I said, Ron, I think we need to respond. By then, I was already hanging out with Ron in the trailer. That was, we were in my office, was really Ron's trailer. Margaret, my dad, yeah. Margaret's elbow. I feel like I'm free foot nut. But, need to touch that up. So when things started to happen where we realized, okay, these are people out there that want to kind of give back some of their gifts. We made calls to people from the trailer, and some of them were great, and we got connected with the Make-A-Wish Foundation, which was really significant in many respects, and I'll tell some of those stories later. But there was a lot of stuff going on where we just thought, this is good, until Jeffrey Dahmer came to the set one day, we realized it's like time out. There's some people there that want a little bit more than it's available. And the reason I think things closed down was the overall necessity to just keep doing what we were doing. Like, we'll get to the beingness about this later. What we really need to do, so like, it's Monday, we gotta go, it's Friday, Tuesday Gus is coming in, and the next episode, the next episode, the next episode, and then it's hiatus, and then you wonder what happens. Now everybody's sitting there waiting for Friday night. As I sit around watching my shows, Monday, whatever it is, but the process of doing episodic television, it's a machine that steamrolls over you. And it was an exhausting thing. I think slowly we were just like, look, it's not like we don't want to be responsive to the people that care so much about what we're creating. It's like, we'll get to that later. We just need to, you got to get makeup, and we got to do the thing, and this one's coming, and next week we got this one coming to the set, and we got children next week, and it was just a massive machine that just sort of slowly had this kind of get streamlined, or you're working 70 hours a day. And in most respects, and some of the ladies that hung with us through the night knew that Beauty and the Beast was nothing minimum than a 15-hour day. That was a minimum day for us. Those were the fun days. Like, oh, good. We're going to go home before 11 o'clock at night. A little bit off the track, but I'll be back. I'll be back. Over here. Yes. Your name?
My name?
Your favorite color? Excellent question. And your question? The question was, when does the new film get started in production? In there it was like, what the hell's going on? Well, all I can tell you, what I know about this is, and probably hear a lot about it from you all, is, I got a call a couple weeks ago from somebody who knows somebody in the public. And they said, well, I just heard that there's, conversations at the public. There's clearly conversations at the public